I've always kind of wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons. I've been really into role-playing games, the natural progression from like Clue or like some sort of like those other kind of role-playing games to like an actual real-life game, you know?
And when I first saw it, I kind of had that general idea of D&D. It was kind of nerdy, I had thought of the SpongeBob episode where they're all in their costumes and whatnot. And so I didn't really know what to expect, but when I first played it, I saw it was more of a kind of social gathering, getting to see people and just hanging out and playing characters that, may not have to be exactly who you are, but something you might be interested in, pretending to be.
The only thing that really you have in control, like for Dungeons and Dragons, is your own character and kind of like what they choose to do.
I think that D&D taps into the age-old human desire to tell stories. Humans have been telling stories since the beginning of humanity. It's how we pass on knowledge. It's how we explore who we are and who we want to be. It's how we explore our environment.
You're always being someone different in these worlds, and like depending on who your DM is, you're learning like what responses you would actually get if you did those things. And there's no like actual reputational consequences when you're playing that character.
So the whole game of Dungeons and Dragons is really up to the DM or the dungeon master, basically kind of like the god of the world who controls every single like encounter that you have.
The creativity of the characters that, you have a million possibilities about who you can be in the different classes, whatnot, the way you build your character.
Usually you don't play Dungeons and Dragons alone. You usually play it with a team or a party of about like 3 to 4 people. And each of us kind of has like a different role to play on the team. It's really a collaborative game, much more than it is like very competitive. At the beginning of the year, we had like a new student join us, Jaden. I didn't really know a lot about them. Kind of through D&D and also kind of through study skills, the class, I've really gotten to know them a lot better. Kind of through D&D, we've had like a lot of like laughs and, getting to know each other.
As a DM, I can definitely get attached to some characters, whether it's, my created NPCs or player characters, because if a player really enjoys their character, they're going to put more of themselves into it. That character is going to flourish and you're going to see more of their personality grow, whether it's, that's the player's personality coming into the character or the character itself. It can be enjoyable to see. And then again, creating your own characters, you might have your own personal favorites, or you see what your players really enjoy, and those are the characters you try and bring back and return into the game. Just again, trying to make it as fun for the players as possible.
We actually recently had like a semi loss of a character, where one of our characters was like killed by like a monster. It was a little devastating for like the party, but I think that there are like very clever ways that like losing a character can like help kind of drive the narrative forward, because it kind of creates like the stakes or like what there is to lose, that you're not really like in this like huge world where you're given a lot of freedom. There is still like the possibility of like death and loss, and that as kind of like a background for this whole world makes the whole entire adventure much more fun.
One of my characters died, and it was like devastating. I was like begging my DM, please don't do this. They have more story. But it had to happen. All characters have to die at some point, and it can really strengthen the things going on in the campaign when a character dies, because that's a pivotal moment of like, someone has died here, and you make a new character and you keep going.
It was great. I told everyone what had happened and that I only had like 10 minutes to be myself, and that as soon as I stopped, they had to kill me, or I would not be able to like protect them from the bad guy, and it would just take me forever. and so they had to save the world.
I feel like all of us have kind of learned the consequences of our actions. One of our party members like tried to rob a bank once. Another one of our party members tried to like intimidate someone by like perching on their roof. And I think it's really interesting to kind of see the outcomes that D&D can bring of like, sure, like you expect your like every move that you make to work, but because there's like because we use dice to like decide every action and like how successful something is, there's still always a chance that like what you want like won't come true, and that like you will actually like either fail or that you will like what we call it like critically fail.
All my players and I have this joke that we're all just playing ourselves in costume. I've never seen anyone play a character that is very essentially different than their most essential nature, right? Like, I think you play different aspects of yourself.
I am really excited about every Thursday playing Dungeons and Dragons. You know, it's always something that I kind of look forward to every week, of kind of continuing our campaign or like our adventure, kind of like from where we left off.
It's just very fun. It's like acting, but just with your friends, so it's not much pressure.
If you ever wanted to be more flirty or more strong personality or less shy, you can practice doing that in a game as a character. Try it on, see if you like it, and decide if it's for you without like committing to it 100% in your daily personality.
Sometimes it could be a good moment. It could be a learning lesson for, you know, maybe a character who just feels like they're invincible and just kind of doing a little too much. It's like, hey, you got to learn that even though this is a game, actions have consequences, and you know, if you happen to step up on a very large bug and your attack doesn't work, who knows? It might end up killing you.
Okay, in this game I'm playing a flamboyant guy, or in this game I'm playing a really tough girl, and it's really interesting to like find out things about yourself through these characters, because you always want to challenge yourself to be a different character, and when you do that, you realize, hey, it kind of feels nice to be this kind of person.
You're using teamwork, you're building that sense of friendship as you guys work together to complete a goal that you have set. You know, again, it could be as basic as saving someone or whatnot, saving the town from the dragon. Like, oh yeah, cool, but at the same time, you guys did that together, and it's a shared experience. And when you have shared experiences with people that are enjoyable, you're gonna wanna continue spending time with that person to continue creating those experiences. You create like that mental connection of, you connect the fun with that person.
I was the most awkward 16-year-old ever when I started role-playing games. I learned how to speak. I learned how to express my ideas. I learned how to wrestle with big feelings. I learned how to be brave. I learned how to be confident by pretending to be confident as a character, right? Like, I learned all those things. I learned how to read body language and how to read people. I learned how to tell stories collaboratively. And that seems like, oh, we're telling stories together, but it's actually like this incredibly epic skill where you have to listen to what other people are saying. It's kind of like improv. Like, you can't say no, you have to say yes and if you're going to build this thing together. And those skills transfer to everything. They are the skills I use to write lesson plans with my colleagues, and they're the skills I use to have conversations with my students about what they need. And so I just think it's the best thing ever for everyone.
I love D&D. I would really like to continue doing it. I've been mostly a player this entire time. I want to try DMing, and I really hope that it continues into my adulthood, because it's a great way to meet people. If you just go to like D&D forums and stuff and say, hey, I'm looking for a campaign, you can meet some pretty great people that share your interests.